Signs he's not a provider. You've watched all the videos. Does he pay on dates? Does he plan? Does he offer? Here's the problem. Nobody tells you. The signs lie, in both directions, and I'll show you the two men who prove it. Is he a provider or a taker? The internet says, watch his behavior. So let me introduce you to two men who make that advice worthless. Man number one, the performer. For the first few months, he's a dream. Flowers, dinners on him. Put your card away, baby. You relax. You tell your friends you found one. Then you move in. You get comfortable. Maybe you cut back at work. And the wallet quietly closes. The dinners become, let's cook at home. The gifts stop. Suddenly there's a spreadsheet. It wasn't a change of heart. It was a strategy. Generosity was the bait. Your dependence was the goal. And every sign of a provider you checked, he performed on purpose. Man number two, the sleeper. He shows up to date 3 and splits the bill, to the penny. He's been marinating in male coach podcasts. Never finance a woman. 50-50 is respect. Every checklist says, run, taker, next. But here's what the checklist can't see. With you, his code fires. The energy works exactly as it should. And 6 months in, the podcast talk is gone. He's covering the rent, planning the future, and turning into the most devoted provider his family has ever seen. The coach is lost, the code won, same checklist, 2 opposite mistakes. One woman ran from her future husband. One built a life with a performer, so when you search signs, he will never provide for you. Understand what you're actually reading. Behavior, and behavior is the least reliable data he has. Behavior can be performed for months if the prize is worth it. Behavior can be borrowed from podcasts, from his father, from his last relationship. Behavior changes with his mood, his bank balance, and how secure he feels this week. And the most popular check of all, how was he with his ex, is the most useless. His ex had her own code with him. Maybe his provider status never unlocked on her. Maybe it did, and the friction killed it. Either way, her experience is her data. You're not her. Checking his ex is like reading someone else's blood test before your own surgery. What you need isn't his history, it's his wiring, with you, specifically. How to tell if a man will take care of you financially, for real, not for the first 3 months. You read the provider status in your pair reading, not his sign, not his ex, not his behavior this week. The joint code of you two, because that's where provision actually lives. The reading shows 3 things the checklist never can. Is his provider status unlocked on you, meaning the generosity is instinct, not performance, and it doesn't expire when you get comfortable? Is it blocked, meaning the performer's mask will eventually drop, no matter how good month one feels? Or is it conditional, tied to friction in your peace and provision index, generous in calm, closed in conflict? That's the difference between the performer and the sleeper, by the way. Same behavior on date 3, opposite codes underneath. The reading tells them apart in 10 minutes. Your heart needs about 2 years. And a lease. One last myth. Provider mindset signs. The idea that some men just have the provider mindset. A fixed personality you can screen for. You already know it's not true. You've seen it yourself. The same man, a taker with one woman, a provider with the next. Same mindset, same salary, different code. There is no provider type. There are provider pairings. And yours is readable. The math, as always. The behavior route, 2 years of watching, guessing, and testing. Risk. You're either dependent on a performer or you walked away from a sleeper. The reading, 10 minutes. Less than a single blowout. And it can't be performed because he doesn't control it. The signs lie both ways. The code doesn't lie in either. If you could see his provider status toward you tonight, unlocked, blocked, or conditional, would you keep grading his behavior? Links in the description. And tell me in the comments, have you met the performer or the sleeper? Which one fooled you? I read everything. Don't leave your soft life to chance. Subscribe and start vetting by code.